So good morning and welcome to the BirdDog Technology Limited investor webinar. BirdDog is a global video technology company that enhances the quality, speed and flexibility of video through the range of solutions augmented with NDI. To ask a question throughout today's presentation, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. So today I am joined by our Executive Director and CEO, Dan Mile, co-founder and CMO, Eamon Drew, and CFO, Barry Kalman, to run through the operational highlights. I will now hand you over to Dan.
Thanks very much, Jane, and thank you everyone for joining the call. We're really pleased to be here to talk about what we've been up to in the business over the last 6 months and talk about each quarter independently as well. Give you an update on some of our products and certainly some very topical things around supply chain management and general trajectories moving forward. So I think what I'd like to do firstly is start out with the half overall on what we've achieved. So you'll have seen in our 4C filings that we've and our general market update that we've had a 15% upgrade in our revenue over the past 6 months. Now for us, we think that's a great result given a few things. The first quarter, or the September quarter of this year, was particularly strong. And Eamon will have a bit of a comment on that shortly as far as what we saw and how that really affected the overall business moving forward. The second quarter, which is the December quarter, had some interesting highlights as far as things that have happened. So I'll talk about that first. Essentially what we did in December is a fairly large event happened, which was the 20th of December, which was the listing of the company. Now, over the lead up to that, there was a significant amount of resources needed from the executive leadership team. Added to that, there's, as every company has had, some significant COVID challenges. We had significant absenteeism. So overall, we think the fact that December was actually a really strong quarter is a great result given everything that's gone on. Now, so the September quarter is a really exciting kind of view into what's happened. And I think I'll pass to you, Eamon, just to describe the patterns that we saw.
Yeah, so, well, traditionally December quarter is our largest quarter, but given the nature of the world we live in and supply chain issues and you know, a bit of anxiety around being able to get product into store, we actually found that a lot of orders were brought forward into the September quarter. So we had a really big spike in the September quarter. We still closed out the December quarter quite strongly, so it was a pleasing result.
Yeah, thanks, Eamon. So really what we saw is for us, the demand for our products over the last couple of years has been extremely strong, and to see that continue over that September quarter and through into December as well, and also see people really want to confirm that they've got their hands on our products is a really good sign. And an interesting thing with the overall customer purchasing patterns is, while a lot of our growth over the last couple of years has been people reacting and changing their way of work to enable remote workflows, a lot of the purchasing that we saw in this last half is about people generating what we call hybrid workflows or in venue as well. And that means really people starting to plan for the world to become back to normal. And part of that is that they need to have the ability to not only just go back to the way things were, but also to enable these remote workflows that are enabling staff to have more flexible time, are enabling reactions to snap shutdowns or adjustments in the way businesses go. So our technology really enables that, and it really stands out as far as where people can use this new technology, which BirdDog harnesses, and get the most out of their day-to-day organisation, whether that's for AV, whether it's for corporate communications, or whether it's for live streaming and events and broadcast. So we've really seen a solid continuation, and for us that really is an exciting sort of occurrence that's happened over the last half. Now, in terms of supply chain, that's something that's really topical, and I'd like to talk a bit about that. BirdDog, over the last 6 months, and actually really the last 12 months, has embarked on a build-up of our inventory. You will have certainly heard about supply chain issues from everyone from car manufacturers through to computer chips. And BirdDog is no different. We need to manage our supply chain ever more carefully. Over the last 12 months, it's been very apparent, and certainly looking forward talking to our suppliers, there's a huge impact that's still to come, and we're planning for that. So over the last 6 months, we've built up our inventory considerably, and Barry will talk a little bit more about the numbers on that shortly. But probably the most important thing is we haven't ever missed out on having stock in our warehouses. And that's something our customers have really started to become reliant on. As a company, we're making sure that we can not only meet the customer demands now, but also have the product for their demands for growth in the future. An exciting point on that is that we've actually already secured our supply chain for some key upcoming products. So before they've even released to market, we've ensured that not only have we built the product that can work and will be desirable for customers, but we've also got the supply chain under control. That means that we can deliver those to the hands of our customers at the end. Now, moving forward, we've also got plans afoot for making sure that production continues. And really that's, I should say, more than afoot, the plans are very much in place. So for the balance of this calendar year through to the end of 2022, we have all of our production slots already planned out. And we've even continued to plan that out right through to the end of 2023. And so Barry, again, we'll talk in a moment. I'll hand over to you on the financial side of things. And that really is a strong commitment to make sure that we are there and able to deliver for our products, for our customers. So Barry, I might hand over to you just to talk about the stock and how we're ensuring that we have that.
Sure, Dan, thank you. And just to round off the quarters for September and December, we had a very strong, as Eamon and Dan were saying, September quarter that represented 13.8 million Australian dollars in revenue, and we followed that up with a 10.5 million Aussie revenue for the December quarter. So it's two very strong quarters. The September quarter was our record quarter, and in fact the December quarter that we closed out 32 days ago was in fact our third best revenue quarter ever. Importantly, in terms of an underlying EBITDA perspective, that is still very strong at the 9 to 10% level of revenue. So we're really pleased with that. Dan talked about the 20th of December listing date, and there are what we're calling those non-recurring one-off expenses that chewed up some of our financial resources in that lead up to the listing date that clearly do not recur, and therefore the underlying EBITDA really strong at 9 to 10% of revenues. In terms of inventory build, that's been really important for us and very clear in our prospectus that much more than 50 cents in every prospectus dollar and 60 cents in the convertible note dollars has been dedicated to our inventory build. You would have seen in the Appendix 4C released on Friday morning that we spent 7 million Australian dollars in the December quarter on inventory deposits. And just to provide some clarity around that, our manufacturers demand, rightly so, 30% of our purchase orders that we push through to them. 30% of that has to be cashed down. And Dan's talked about securing it not only through to December of 2022, but all the way through to December of 2023. Those inventory deposits that we called out in a separate line item on the 4C for $7 million, that will continue. There are more inventory deposits to put down each quarter, and we will just roll that on a quarterly basis.
Thanks, Barry. I think probably worth talking about some product side of things. At the end of the day, the products that we have in market continue and drive our demand. And then we have new products, which we're in a unique position that every new product we release generates additional revenue. So our current products really represented almost all of the revenue over this period because the new products are really only just coming on stream. So that not only implies and demonstrates the ongoing demand for our existing products, but also gives us some great opportunities as these new products start to ramp up in terms of customer awareness and deployment. So some key highlights on products are some of our cameras. We released a brand new camera over this period, which is called the PF120. And it's a box camera that's really applicable for everything from venue spaces right through to corporate environments and sporting installations where you might want to have a goal camera, for example. We've actually won some awards already for this camera, and it's really showing some great signs as far as popularity. So we've got some great thoughts on where that's going to lead as far as the category and that product. In terms of software, we've also just recently released a piece of software called Cam Control. Now, this harnesses our hardware technology and puts in machine learning, which allows us to track individuals within a camera's shot. So if you're doing a presentation, for example, as you walk around, the camera will follow you. This is great for any of our customers, whether it's a presentation, whether it's for education, or whether it's for a live stream. It means that you can have more cameras pointing at people and more easily. So for us, that's again a great new technology leap that puts our products ahead of our customers, ahead of our competitors. These kind of things really demonstrate that BirdDog is all about making sure that we are ahead of the curve. In fact, we build the curve as far as the new technology and the new features that we build into our products. We've also got a really exciting product that's just started to hit the market, which is our Sdm Module. Now, this is a launch partnership that we've developed with Sharp NEC, the manufacturer of commercial displays. And it allows us to put our technology directly into these corporate display panels or commercial display panels. The exciting thing with this is the opportunity is enormous. It's again our core market in broadcast, but it really puts us fair and square into the AV and corporate AV installation markets. And for us, that's a great new market space, and there's a huge amount of opportunity there. What we're seeing is now building out that pipeline of sales. And while the sales aren't as immediate as we would normally see for a camera, the sales are much larger, and the quantity of deals and opportunities we're seeing is really giving us confidence that over the next 6 months or so, that pipeline will start to turn into run rate business. And that's all incremental business that will drive ongoing growth and increased margins. Important to note that all of our new products are attracting larger margins in the way that we've designed our products, which means that overall the underlying margin will be trending upwards in terms of the business. Moving forward, I did give a little bit of a hint before as far as products and supply chain in the fact that we're securing some of our chips and modules. So what we actually have is some more significant products that we'll be releasing to market in this quarter and also in this half coming forward. And these products really will represent, again, additional growth opportunities. So for us, all of our products remain on stream, and we see increased demand for all of our existing products. And then we have new products that we're building out. And probably something to really talk about is our software interaction. So our software side of things has been always about enabling workflows and ensuring that customers want to have our entire solution. What we're looking at now and what we're beginning to release is a commercialization of that software platform. So we have a free entry point, and then from there we have these premium options which allow people to get more out of their products. And that is a subscription model that will be rolling out more heavily over the next 3 to 6 months as well. So we expect to see increased revenues from software. The last point I'd like to talk about is our team. And really the key to our success, on top of our go-to-market and making sure we have products for people, is ensuring that we have the right products for people moving forward. Now, we've got a 5-year product roadmap that we wanted to get through as soon as possible. And we were very clear with the use of funds that we wanted to expand our engineering team to bring forward that roadmap from 5 years to 3 years and even sooner. The great thing we've seen, and I'm sure everyone's read in the news, is around significant resignations and staff churn in tech companies. We've seen none of that. In fact, we're attracting new talent, which is expanding out our team. And we're really happy to report that we've got some new team members that are really forming key roles within engineering. And that allows us to be really confident that that roadmap is going to bring our products forward faster and ensure that we're not only ahead of the curve, but also once again getting faster ahead of any competition and innovating at the pace that we can really want to. Another part of our team that we're expanding out is what we call our commercial side of the business, which really is our sales team. That organisation gets our products in front of people, gets them to understand it, and ultimately gets people to want to buy our products. So expanding out that team is really important to us. And we've got some significant hires that we're expecting to fill within the next 4 to 6 weeks, particularly in North America, which will have some significant impacts overall, particularly in that AV market and the larger install base. So we're really excited in general about what that means for the business as far as having more staff. The great thing is with engineering, we have a longer term play where we can build out the next generation of products, and we'll see the fruits of that in the next 3 to 6 months and beyond. With the sales team, we get to see effectively an immediate impact from those people because they're commercial in nature. So from there, that's kind of the main points that we have for the update of the business at the moment. So as far as the performance of the business, the first half has been a record first half. We've had significant growth. Certainly the September quarter really showed that there was some drag forward of orders, but certainly ongoing demand for our products. The feedback we've had in general from the market is the December quarter was seen very similarly through every manufacturer's lens, where the purchase or bring forward into September was a common occurrence. In terms of COVID, we're very confident that as a team, whilst we did have some impacts in December, we're seeing all of our staff members come back on, and really we're planning ahead that there will be less impact from that in terms of staffing, and our expanding team will also give us the ability to manage that even better. Products are really exciting as far as where we're heading with our existing products, with our products that have just started to come in market, but also our new product announcements as well. With that, I'll hand back to Jane if they have any Q&A.
Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen. And again, if any investors would like to share questions, please use the Q&A chat, the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. We've had a few that have come through on email as well, so I'll jump into them. I mean, this is one probably for you. Just on what kind of marketing strategies have you got in place for the new products and the new software?
Traditionally, in the last couple of years, we haven't been able to attend trade shows because of COVID. So we're getting back out onto the trade show circuit this year. We've got trade show, actually, I was supposed to be in Barcelona right now at the world's largest AV trade show, but that's been postponed to May. We have our first trade show coming up in Las Vegas in April, and we'll do some product launches probably a couple of weeks ahead of time for those, and then show them at the trade show. NAB is the world's largest trade show for broadcast, and it attracts about 100,000 people from all over the world. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And of course, we'll pump it out on social media like we always do, and really push some advertising in the digital space.
Absolutely, that's been a really strong part of our growth is getting that message out. The brand that we've built is really recognisable within our industries. It's actually a great point about trade shows. One thing I didn't mention is I'm actually heading over to the USA with our Chief Revenue and Operations Officer, Jamie Ambrose. I'm heading over on Friday. That's all about getting in front of our existing customers, our existing distributors, but also new customers, new resellers and new system integrators. And that's all with the view of expanding out our footprint and refocusing and ensuring that our product is absolutely front of mind across the whole market.
Yeah. Maybe you want to address the supply chain challenges?
Yeah, so we've got a few questions that have come through here. So have we experienced the same supply chain challenges in optics as in electronics? Yes and no, I suppose, is the best answer for that. Electronics is by far and away the toughest supply chain that we have to manage at the moment, although everything is interconnected. So the issue really with electronics is the silicon supply. And so at the moment, that is constrained for every manufacturer. And that really is what's pushing out lead times. In some cases, some products that we require have got a 70+ week lead time, which is why we've been so diligent in managing the supply chain to make sure we don't get caught up in that. In terms of optics, it's sort of linked in the fact that supply chain crunches do affect neighbouring industries. There's no shortage of glass, so that's not a problem. Probably the bigger thing with that is around ensuring the price doesn't creep up too far in terms of logistics and making sure that we can get the products on time. But by and large, the biggest thing we need to manage is the silicon side of things. Where there's integrated components, where there's glass and also silicon, of course, that would be affected by the lowest common denominator, which would be the silicon supply. The average selling price of Sdm modules compared to the cameras. So that's a great question. So the average selling price of our Sdm, or our commercial display offering that we've got, is around about the same price as our lowest end of cameras. So you could say it's about the same price as our entry point with cameras. The great thing, though, is, as I mentioned, the margin is significantly higher, and the opportunity is really quite large as far as the places that can go. So it's from our point of view, it really is a great opportunity to expand out our revenue base and expand out the overall margin as well. So moving forward, there's a question about any plans for any home camera products or lower cost items for home Zoom calls. Look, I think at the moment we're not talking about any product releases within this call. We certainly have some really core product releases we've got coming out, which go for larger corporate installations as well as infrastructure products. But NDI really is an expanding universe, and the question there actually involves for home Zoom calls, and that's a great point in the fact that Zoom and Teams and many other communication platforms actually natively support NDI. And so for us, the opportunity goes beyond just replacing existing broadcast equipment, because being a software-based platform that can be installed on a laptop or any application that uses video can implement NDI, there's some great opportunities. So certainly as we move forward, there's great opportunities to move downwards and have a larger user base of a lower cost item, but also to move upwards as well, to have a more focused user base with a higher value item as well. So we certainly are looking at expanding out in all directions as far as our product offerings. The next question is, how's the competitive environment? Any new competitors coming to the market, and who are the biggest ones? So, of course, there is competitors, and actually we do welcome that. If we were the only company that did NDI, it'd be kind of like a walled garden, and we wouldn't have the opportunity for the larger success. What we're trying to do is replace an old technology being what's called SDI, which is a broadcast way of sending single direction video over a dedicated cable. So for us, our competitor really is that SDI. Our peers, in a lot of ways, are other people that make NDI products. By all means, we certainly have companies that are trying to do what we're doing, but we absolutely maintain our leadership position. Every new feature we release is a first. Every new product that we have is a new category that allows for new people to use our products in that NDI space. So by all means, we've got followers and we have people that are wanting to kind of build out their product offering within NDI. But certainly our feeling and our strategy and our confidence is that we're always going to maintain that position of leadership in making that curve rather than following the curve. And that's really a lot of the use of funds when I was talking about engineering and ensuring that we are ahead of everybody else.
Dan, before you actually jump on to the next question, which is in there, we've had a few people sort of ask to sort of run through a case study of a company that uses the BirdDog technology, perhaps on a global scale.
Yeah, I'm going to put Eamon on the spot moment. We don't have a spotlight. But,
yeah, no, it's that's quite a broad question. We have a very broad user base. Everything from people doing live streaming at like corporate and hybrid events. You'll see people, doing streaming and video production there, through to true three-letter broadcasters around the world in New York and the UK and here in Australia. Through to AV spaces. Dan mentioned that Zoom and Teams supports NDI now. So we're finding a lot more AV kind of spaces using our technology to get video around onto screens. That could be in an education environment, an office boardroom, and situations like that. So we have a really broad user base. It's not just this sort of, pigeonholed broadcast market. And then things like the Sdm module, they actually go after a whole new category again in digital signage and video walls. And like when you're in a shopping mall and you see those 4 TVs, sort of stitched together showing one piece of video across the 4 screens, that's sort of the application for the Sdm module. So you can only imagine how many of those, TV screens there are around the world, and that whole segment is just growing by the day. So yeah, we're really broad in terms of where we see ourselves, I guess. Hope that answered the question in a kind of a way. Yeah,
I might add to that. Actually, part of our releases is actually one of the unique parts of BirdDog is, well, NDI is a technology and takes a camera and puts it on a computer network, which is in itself revolutionary. Our BirdDog technology that we add on top of that adds what we call our BirdDog cloud layer, which allows us to not only have that video and that camera accessible in one place, but also over the internet and anywhere else in the world. And you can actually access any of our cameras through mobile devices and through TV applications and control and reframe and interact with that camera or that edit point anywhere in the world. And again, from a global scale, which there was a bit of a hint in that question, we've really got some great technology that really takes us beyond, it's hard to say traditional when NDI is so new, beyond what traditionally NDI would be used for, and really into this whole next generation of use cases where you can have the best camera operator that's in one part of the world and the best talent in another part of the world and the best producer somewhere else. And that's, from that point of view, we're really enabling these great, what we call hybrid workflows, where you have some people in venues, but some people, the best people, are still able to be part of that production, even if they're not in the same building.
There's another so I'll let you jump.
No problems. So I'm just going through here. We've got another one. In general, how does Q3 and Q4 perform against the first half? I'll probably answer a little bit, and I might hand that over to Barry as well. In some ways, all bets are off in terms of seasonality. We are a pretty young company, and our camera products, which have really been extremely well received by the world, are around 2.5 years old. So seasonality is still forming. Overall, we see the first half of the financial year being the stronger one, and then the second half being a close second. There's not too much in between them. But traditionally, we would have said that the December quarter is the strongest one. With the overlay of COVID, supply chain issues, with logistics issues and things, there has been some slight changes. So, from our point of view, it's probably a little bit difficult to say, where we're going to see the absolute highest quarter. But at the same time, what we're seeing is even as early as this month, we're still seeing strong demand for products. So I think overall, we're very comfortable that we're halfway through the year and that we're seeing some good results at this point. Barry, I'll probably let you talk a bit more numbery and.
Thanks, Dan. So if we're talking pure numbers and historical records are sort of out the window, given what's happened over the last 6 months, and the new products that are coming on stream. But certainly the first half, which ends 31 December, is almost 60% of our revenue in a very traditional historical sense, which is quite a funny way, given that we're only 5.5 years old. And then just a touch more than 40% for the second half that ends in June. All bets are off. One, because seasonality is still playing it out, and we're in a different world at the moment. We've addressed our supply chain through to December of 2023, which we're really comfortable and excited about. And there's a raft of new products that Dan touched on earlier in the call that will impact the second half of this financial year, the next 5 months. So we expect that 40% general second half to be north of that for the balance of the financial year 22.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the all bets are off, we mean in a positive way.
Yeah.
In terms of products, that's actually a really good point, Barry, is that in a historical sense, the last 6 months, while we've had some really strong product releases, it's actually been a relatively few product releases compared to normal. And really, we've got a makeup of that where we've got a huge amount of products that are coming out over the next 6 months. So we really see, as I mentioned right at the start, the opportunities with BirdDog are our current products are maintaining and growing their market and sales, and then the new products add additional revenue. So with that, we have a significant amount of new products across all of our segments, from hardware to cameras to software, and also our cloud platforms, which all will contribute new user bases, new revenue to the business. So we're really confident that on top of our kind of traditional growth that we see, we'll also see these new products driving more revenue as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wonderful, gentlemen. Well, it looks like those are all the questions that have come through. If we have missed anything, please feel free to reach out via the contact details on the bottom of our ASX releases. But we look forward to hosting you again soon.
Thanks, everyone, for joining the call.
Thank you. And thanks, Jane, for setting it up. Thanks.